Hello, my name is Pat Bergeson, and I'm a guitar player here in Nashville, Tennessee. I moved here in 1993, February of 1993, and I came to Nashville because I was playing with Chet Atkins. He brought me to town. I was very fortunate and lucky and blessed to get to play with him for 7 or 8 years. And I played on the road with him, and I recorded with him, and he was a mentor and an absolutely fantastic person to me. He helped me in every possible way, and I would not be living in Nashville if it wasn't for Chet Atkins. I really loved him. He was so good to me, and him and his family, they were all so good to me, and I've been here since then. And that's how many years? 32 years? 33 years I've been in Nashville. So this is my home now. My son was born here, and I don't plan on moving anywhere else. It's the best city to be in because if you're a professional musician, it's the best place to work. It's pretty much 10, 15 minutes anywhere to drive to any studio or to a gig. It's not just Nashville, but Tennessee is a beautiful place too. Just, you get it 20 minutes out of town here and it's all hills and hollers. It's beautiful. You know, you can go fishing and canoeing, and it's just a beautiful place. It has Percy Warner Park, which is like one of the biggest, I believe the biggest park within the city limits in the United States besides Central Park in New York. So it's got beautiful city parks and state parks in Tennessee. I love Nashville because of the music scene, but also because I like to do things outdoors. I love being outside, and it doesn't take me long to drive outside of Nashville and be out in the middle of nowhere very quickly. And I used to live in New York City, and it was much more difficult to do that. You had to drive a long way to get anywhere before you felt like you could breathe and you were out in the country. So I love that about Tennessee, and I love that about Nashville. It's just an absolute great place to be. I love Nashville so much. And I would say, you were asking me about a song that would remind me of Nashville, and of course probably, an obvious choice for a lot of people would be Tennessee Waltz. That would be a tune that for me was a song that maybe reminds me of Nashville or Tennessee. Yeah, and I think that's about it, really. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on about Nashville and how much I love it.
Hi, I'm Leslie Hermsdorfer, and I'm speaking to you from Nashville, Tennessee. Well, I was born here, so I've been here my whole life, except for I lived 3 years in New York City. Nashville to me is, and I'm sure that this is a little cliche, it's not a place, it's a feeling to me. And the thing that's always been special to me in Nashville, growing up here and being a part of the music community, being around it, bringing it in, watching it, growing with it, just being around the people is probably the love and the soul and the feeling of expansion and endless possibilities and freedom that songwriters got, especially, a long time ago there was a whole lot more space, a lot more free parking, and people would just get together all the time and create. And it was like all night long. You could go out, you could see shows, you could end up at a recording session, you could go to someone's house, you could grab an instrument. It was all around you if you really wanted it to be, and if you wanted to participate. Obviously the city has grown by leaps and bounds. You all, as long as you've been coming here, you've seen tremendous change. It's become much more of a metropolitan city. But what's special about it is that it's so special for new people, right? For younger people, for people your daughter's age. They're coming here, and the expansion of music styles and accepted cultures and accepted dialects, and everything has really grown to enrich the city into the beautiful place that I think that it still is, and that I hope that it continues in the form of being a loving place to everybody. Yes. So, and going back to your question about one of my favorite songs about Nashville, and it's funny because I don't think that this lad is actually from Nashville. I love this song. It came out in the 90s, and it really embraced what it felt like in the 90s. It was much slower back then, and so I'll just go ahead and play it now. This is Victor Messesny and his song Sleepy Nashville Town on WXNA LP Nashville 101.5 FM.
I'm Laura Gifford. I live in East Nashville, and I'm an audiologist. I also am in training to be a DJ at a volunteer independent radio station, and I work with a lot of musicians, and I'm a big proponent for hearing protection. That's kind of my soapbox, music and hearing protection. So I have been coming to Nashville my entire life because half of my family was always here. That half of the family is the part that's the most musical. So I would come to Nashville on the weekends or in the summers and visit with my cousins, and they would always teach me something new about music. So even as a kid, coming to Nashville was always about music. I thought everybody in Nashville did music. Fast forward, I grew up, I went to college, I moved to Nashville, and there's music everywhere. And I took it for granted that there was music everywhere because there's always been music everywhere in Nashville. Now over the years, it's shifted, the type of music and where the music is and how you access the music, but Nashville's always been Music City. It'll always be Music City. It got its name over 100 years ago from the Queen of England because the Fisk Jubilee singers traveled from Nashville to England to perform for the Queen, and she said, "You must be from a musical city." And that's how we got the name Music City a long time ago, pre-Opry. So there's so much musical history here, stuff you wouldn't expect. I had no idea Jimi Hendrix started out in Nashville. He was in the Air Force up the road. Like, just crazy Nashville stories. All musical roads lead to or through Nashville. When I was younger, Broadway is the downtown stretch of highway, and it was kind of sketchy. But there were also some really cool bars there, and you could walk in there any time, any night, and not know who was going to show up. Any famous person could just wander in and have a beer or get on stage. You never knew. Specifically, Tootsie's was huge back then. Robert's Western Wear was awesome. But even like there was a jazz and blues club down on 2nd Avenue, and people would show up there and perform. And it's always been about music community. And while I guess stuff on Music Row was a little more cutthroat because people were trying to get record deals, with the way music's handled through the internet and self-promotion now, that's not so much a thing. There's more access to music by more people, and there's more access to making music for more people. So half the people I know are involved in the music industry in some capacity, as consumers, creators, as historians, as photographers. I didn't realize, until I travel to other places, I forget how unique this is here, what we have, and how special it is. Chicago's a great music town. New York's a great music town. There's great music in other places, but any night of the 7 days of the week, I have 3 options of shows to go to. And usually 2 of them are friends of mine playing, or people that I've met and have become friends of mine. That's what Nashville means to me. That's what Music City is. It's all the music, and we're all involved with it, and we're all happy to share it. There's no snarkiness between bands. If I opt to go see one friend play and then I miss out on another friend, nobody cares. Everybody's like, "Oh, that's going to be a great show too. Wish I could go to it, but I've got a gig." It's the most nurturing, satisfying musical environment that I could imagine, and I feel really happy to be here. And a lot of times I take it for granted, or in the past I've taken it for granted and forgotten until I travel somewhere else and I talk to friends who are musicians in other places, and it's not like that for them. It's more competitive, or the gigs aren't as ample, or it's hard to find people to play with. You know, you lose a drummer, it takes longer to find another drummer or something like that. We don't have those problems here. It's awesome. And for my songs, because I'm such a consumer of music, it was really hard to land on one. My initial thought was, there's a beautiful song called Nashville by David Mead. And then the other song that I was torn between is called Greetings from Nashville, which is completely different. It's a hard alt-rocker, country rock song by Jason and the Scorchers. It's just real fun. And I love that song because the era in which it came out was just this wonderful, free, awesome era when sort of Americana and alt-rock country music was being created in Nashville by a lot of people, and they were all enjoying it together. East Nashville has the same vibe that era had, and that's why I love this part of town. So, you know, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, downtown, I guess, was the place for music and musicians because of the Ryman being there. And then the newer, independent, edgier stuff moved out to Elliston Place at some point in the 80s, maybe late 70s, and now everything's moving over to East Nashville. I can, within 5 miles, there's probably 7 nightclubs within 5 miles of my house. But those are my 2 songs, Greetings from Nashville by Jason and the Scorchers and Nashville by David Mead.